Ladies and gentlemen, it is flip season, and Notre Dame is working behind the scenes to flip some prospects. Maybe not behind the scenes anymore. Working to flip some prospects from some big-time schools. We're going to talk about this news with Blue and Gold's Kyle Kelly. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content. And, of course, go to blueandgold.com for so much more recruiting intel. What we're talking about in this video really just scratches the surface of everything that we're reporting over on the website. And this is the big scoop from Kyle Kelly on Tuesday morning. Ohio State five-star wide receiver commit Jameer Brown visiting Notre Dame on Saturday for the USC game. And he gave Kyle this quote: "I have a good relationship with Coach Freeman and the coaches, so it's always nice to be able to catch up with them." Brown is the number 10 overall player and the top wide receiver in the 2027 class, according to the industry ranking, which uses Rivals 24/7 and ESPN equally. And you see the individual ratings by each website there. So, yeah, an elite prospect. Goes to Huber Heights, Ohio, Wayne High School, which is, of course, the high school that Marcus Freeman and Mike Mickens attended. And the head coach at Wayne High School, Roosevelt Mooks, was a assistant coach when Freeman and Mickens played there together. So some deep connections here. This is not Brown's first time visiting Notre Dame either. While he's been committed to the Buckeyes, was also on campus back in April. Of course, Emil Wagner, the starting offensive tackle for the Irish, played at Wayne. So again, lots of connections here, Kyle. Pretty big news today.
Yeah, there isn't a recruit in the 2027 cycle that the Irish have been in longer than Jameer Brown. He was the first prospect in the 27 cycle to report an offer from Notre Dame. This was all the way back in February of 2024. So we're going on almost 2 years now of Notre Dame being in touch with the top now high school junior wide receiver in the country. And you mentioned some of the relationships between Notre Dame and the Wayne High School staff. I'm led to believe that the relationships with Brown and the Notre Dame staff, Brown's family and the Notre Dame staff, are just as strong. There was a time where Brown visited Notre Dame for most of his family for Irish invasion back in June of 2024. And then, Brown made a commitment to Ohio State in November of his sophomore year. I don't think that caught a lot of people off guard because Ohio State recruits their in-state guys better than any school, and they also recruit wide receivers better than any school in the nation because they develop them better than any school in the nation. So it's not a surprise to see a top wide receiver recruit commit to Notre Dame. It is commit to Ohio State. It is a surprise to see how early Brown committed. Notre Dame hasn't given up. They got him back on campus that spring. When I talked to Jameer Brown a couple weeks after that visit, he downplayed it. He said it was just to go see Emil Wagner, who attended his high school. But then he also said, for people that don't know about Notre Dame, it's a pretty special place. That's me paraphrasing, but Brown gave some pretty strong comments about the Irish, and they haven't given up. So he's going to be one of a couple of 5-stars on campus on Saturday. And, let's call a spade a spade. This is going to be a pretty hard flip. Best prospect in Ohio, committed to Ohio State, 5-star wide receiver, best pass catcher in the class. He's also got an Ohio State tattoo all over his arm.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be a layup for Notre Dame, but they're doing what's necessary, and that's just keeping in touch and getting him back to campus.
In full agreement with you, Kyle. Huge news, but it is going to be a very difficult flip for the Irish. But hey, you keep bringing them to campus a third time in total. You have the deep relationships. So we will see where things lead from here. More 5-star prospects coming to campus and more flip watch. Now, flip kind of. Some of these guys have decommitted from the Nittany Lions, but it would be like completing a flip if Notre Dame is able to land him, I guess, because Notre Dame's been working on Kamon Spell for quite a while. 5'10", 210 pounds, the number 8 overall player, number 1 running back. Man, yeah, the Stars are coming to South Bend this weekend. This will be Spell's first visit to campus. He wanted to come back in the spring. ended up locking in with Penn State, and then, hey, set up another visit. Like at the time, I remember saying like, hey, Notre Dame is going to keep working on him. His relationship with running back coach Jaywan Sider is incredible, and those guys have been tight for such a while. And of course, Spell committed to Penn State originally, to Jaywan Sider. And side note, what a time for Sider to get out of Penn State, by the way. Allen and Singleton were two great backs last year. Not as much this year, obviously, with Penn State being so down. And then Jay Love and JD Price just look absolutely incredible this season, even better than last year, which it was hard to top last year for those two. But anyways, yeah, Kyle, Kimon Spell visiting campus this Saturday, and then a couple other Penn State guys to keep an eye out for. We haven't really touched on much 2026 recruiting for Notre Dame in a while because there's been nothing to talk about. This could be one. Matt Sieg, a 4-star safety from Fort Cherry and McDonald, PA. He's been committed to the Nittany Lions since November 2024. Notre Dame offered him in February, didn't really go anywhere. Well, Sieg talked to Blue White Illustrated's Ryan Snyder, our sister site covering Penn State, and he mentioned that Notre Dame is a school that has reached out to him. Now, how serious this is remains to be determined, but at least something to keep an eye on. Maybe Sieg could pop up on a visitor list sometime in the near future. And then Notre Dame has not offered Leighton Von Brandt yet. He is the number 6 overall offensive tackle in the 2027 class, but he has decommitted from Penn State since the James Franklin news broke. And Notre Dame sent him a happy birthday graphic this week. So wouldn't be a surprise to see him visiting South Bend in the near future. So, yeah, Kyle, Notre Dame working on some of these Penn State guys. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, right now I probably feel best about Spell over anyone, which is a heck of a thing to say considering he's the, I think, number 8 or 9 overall player in the class, number 1 running back in the 27 cycle. Also probably the best running back, or maybe just best recruit overall I've seen in person. I checked out his junior debut earlier this year. This guy's a freak, and it makes a lot of sense why Notre Dame is pulling out all the stops to get him to campus. Finally, this has been a long-awaited visit. As you mentioned, they were trying to get him up to campus back in the spring. Didn't happen. Now he's his first trip to Notre Dame is going to be his first visit after James Franklin was fired at Penn State. So Notre Dame looking to make a big move here. I heard early on that Notre Dame was the best school positioned to flip him, but I'm not sure if that's true anymore. I mean, I know the Irish are up there. There's just a lot of other schools getting involved. It is going to be a complete reset, it feels like, in this recruitment. He's reported a bunch of new offers. He's scheduling a bunch of other visits. This is going to be a completely new approach for Kimon Spell than what he's used to, because before he had even visited Ohio State week 1, the only other school he saw was UCLA, and that was just like a pass-through once he was in LA. So even though Spell decommitted from the Nittany Lions earlier this year, or earlier this week, he had been pretty steadfast in his decision to play for that program. So we'll see what move they can make for Spell. I'm not sure, about Notre Dame's efforts for Sieg, especially given the 26 defensive back class, the elite haul that Notre Dame has. We know that Notre Dame recruits offensive linemen probably about better than anyone in the country. So we'll see if they can make a move with Von Brandt. Would not surprise me to see him on campus this fall. I think that's the one that I've been told Notre Dame's giving a look to. So, Notre Dame looking to capitalize off a little bit of turbulent times in Happy Valley.
Yeah, I think you touched on this the other day on one of our shows, Kyle, that when Spell was committed to Penn State, might have been even easier for Notre Dame to win that recruitment because now the floodgates have just opened. Georgia, he's visiting next weekend, I believe. The Bulldogs are definitely a team to watch out for. So there's a lot that's going to go into this one. But the factors that Notre Dame has is he is visiting for the USC game, so that you win that game and the atmosphere is electric. That's going to help. how well Notre Dame is playing with J Love and JD Price definitely helps. The connection with Jaywan Sider definitely helps. It's not the closest, but it's not the farthest either. Talking about where he's at in Pennsylvania to South Bend. Look, he is a 5-star guy. NIL is going to be a factor in this recruitment. And I think that some like Notre Dame fans who more old timers are like, "Oh, we're not going to lead him." It's like, no, this is how it goes. Like if a Notre Dame, how they're recruiting now, can win NIL battles. It's like if you hear a prospect and when we're talking about NIL with him, I feel like a lot of us just be like, Notre Dame's not getting him. That's not how it rolls anymore with Notre Dame. Like, go look at their commit list right now. Like, they have a lot of elite players. Heck, even some guys from, Penn State territory that Notre Dame went out and beat Penn State for, these high-level NIL recruitments. One other note I wanted to make on Spell is whoever that new Penn State coach is, you better believe that they're going to be in after Spell. So that's another factor to kind of watch out for, how the Nittany Lions rebound with whoever that new coach is. So that is going to do it for this video, folks. Please hit the thumbs up on it. Subscribe to the channel for more content. And again, go to blueandgold.com for so much more on Fighting Irish football recruiting.